Hi everyone and welcome to Drag Race Stats. I am back with a brand new series, as I like to call it. This one is gonna be Untying the Ties, the winner edition. Because in my videos I always go over through at the end of it, saying who should really have won based on the stats. And I don't think I've done a super good job in a lot of them, especially the old ones where I just said basically whatever. But now I come up with like more of a system and actually look at the queen's track records like down to the nitty gritty. And saw that there is actually a lot of ties here, with the winners tying with a queen who didn't win or like a queen who was eliminated. So we're gonna look at that more specifically because there are a lot of seasons where this happens, and of course also just a lot of seasons where a queen with a lesser track record won that season. And I just stress out, and I cannot be clear enough about this, that these are pure facts from what happened on the show. These are not personal opinions. It has nothing to do what I think should have happened or what I think shouldn't be. Like, this is what actually happened when a queen won this challenge, when a queen was high, when a queen was low, when a queen was in the bottom two. I really need to point that out. These are pure facts, stats, no personal opinions, clear stats. I think I stressed it out enough now. But it's just, so don't come for me in the comments saying I was wrong about something, because it is literally what happened. And as always, I am only looking at seasons where RuPaul is the main judge and host. So we're looking at US seasons, All Stars, UK versus the world, Down Under, and Global All Stars. And not Down Under 4, because Michelle hosted that one. And so how this is gonna work is I'm gonna take every season where the winner has the same amount of wins and bottom two placements as another queen, either in the top 3 or 4 or 5, or a queen who was actually eliminated. And this does happen quite a few times actually, it's very funny. And then we're gonna take those queens and compare them to each other by looking closely at their track record. And how this is gonna work, I'm gonna give the queen a point for every win they have, and then I'm gonna take that point away for every time they're in the bottom two. So they have like a point system. Let's say we have a queen who has 2 wins and is in the bottom 2 once, so they have 1 point. And it's the same if a queen has 1 win and was never in the bottom 2, so they also have 1 point. And then they are tied. And what I'm gonna do from there is look at their high and low placements. So every time a queen has a high placement and a low placement, they even themselves out. So if a queen has 2 high placements and 1 low placement, then in my mind they only have 1 high placement. So that's how we're gonna do it. I hope it makes sense. I will show you the track records for each season that I'm talking about, so hopefully it'll make sense very soon. But let's just get into it, and we're actually gonna start with the very first season. And here we actually have 3 queens who are tied, and they are our winner BB Sahara Benet, Nina Flowers, and Ongina. And so now I can explain how this is gonna work, because BB had 2 wins and was in the bottom 2 once, and it's the same with Ongina, and Nina Flowers had 1 win and was never in the bottom 2, so they all kind of tie in that way. And now if we look at our track records here, we can see that Ongina actually has never been below high when she was eliminated, which is just crazy. But because she was eliminated, we don't know how she would have done further on, so we can take her out of the equation at least. And if we look here at BB and Nina, BB has 1 high placement while Nina has 4. But also a low placement, but that's still enough to get her ahead. So Nina actually has the better track record here, and probably should have won based on that fact. But yeah, this is how it's gonna work for my videos. I hope it makes sense to everybody now. And we can move on to the next one. We're gonna skip season 2 because Tybra had the best stats overall. She didn't tie with anyone. So now we're actually gonna go to season 3. And here we have 2 queens who had 3 wins and 1 bottom 2 placement. And it is our top 2 of Raja and Manila Luzon. Not only do they tie with wins and bottom placements, but they actually tie completely with high and low placements as well. They both have 4 high placements and 1 low placement. So there is no way of determining who should have won based on the stats here. And this is not the only time that this happens. But it's a bit frustrating for this kind of video. But yeah, so it should have been a double crowning. I mean, the only way you could maybe determine who should have won would have been based on the lip sync. But you can't base that on stats, so I can't really do anything about that. Moving on, we can skip season 4 because Sharon won overall. But now we can go on to season 5, where 2 of the top 3 queens had a tie here with 2 wins and 1 bottom 2 placement, and that is Jinx Monsoon and Roxy Andrews. But Jinx blows Roxy out the water with her 8 high placements in a row here. It's insane. But it doesn't really matter because Alaska does have the better track record overall because she was never in the bottom 2 and also had 2 wins. And yes, I know she has 3 low placements, but I'm only looking at it as wins and bottom 2 placements and then at the highs and lows. So she does have a better track record here. Do not come for me, this is just stats. We can skip season 6 and 7 because Bianca Del Rio and Violet Chachki had the better track records overall. Moving on to season 8, we again have a tie between 2 queens in the top 3 here, being Bob the Drag Queen and Kimchi. Kimchi has 2 wins but was never in the bottom 2. Bob the Drag Queen has 3 wins but was in the bottom 2 once. I was very surprised by this because Bob doesn't have any high placements. She was only high when she won, otherwise she was just safe. And Kim does have 2 high placements, but she also has 2 low placements, which means they even themselves out. And therefore it is a complete tie again, just like in season 3. I was very surprised by this. But yeah, again, it could have been a double crowning. It's actually funny because everyone says that season 8 was Bob's season and everyone knew she was going to win. But Kim actually had just as much as a chance as she did. Moving on to the next season, it gets a little bit different because we have top 4s, but they each lip sync against each other and then one is eliminated. But it doesn't always mean that the best queen moves on to the top 2. But anyway, our winner Sasha Velour does have a tie with Trinity the Talk here, because Sasha has 2 wins and was never in the bottom 2, and Trinity has 3 wins but was in the bottom 2 once. But Sasha does take it with the high placements that she has, and only 1 low placement, whereas Trinity has 2 highs and 2 lows, so they even out. But Shea Coulee is of course the winner overall here, because she do have 4 wins and 1 bottom 2 placement. But the top 2 was between Peppermint and Sasha, and again Sasha wins this one. We can skip season 10 because Aquaria takes it overall. Moving on to season 11, this is gonna be an interesting one. Because we're starting off with our winner tying with Aquaria, because they both have 0 points actually. Evie having 1 win and 1 bottom 2 placement, and Aquaria having 2 wins and also 2 bottom 2 placements. But Evie does take it with her many high placements. But it actually doesn't matter because Brooklyn Heights is here. But she only has 1 point because she has 3 wins and 2 bottom 2 placements. And that means she ties with Silky and also Nina West, who also have 1 point with their 2 wins and 1 bottom 2 placement. Of course, Nina is eliminated, so that doesn't matter. And Brooklyn still beats Silky and the overall winner of this season, even though she didn't win against Evie at the end. With season 12, I'm gonna be a little quick because there are unfortunately gonna be some controversial queens in this video, and I apologize for that. They both have 2 points here, with Jada with 3 wins and 1 bottom 2 placement, and Sherry with 2 wins and no bottom placements before she was disqualified. Jada takes it with her high placement and Sherry's low placements, but it doesn't really matter because Gigi Good is the overall winner here with 4 points, even though she did not win at the end. For season 13, we also have a tie with our winner here, Simone and Gottmik, because they both have 2 points. Simone having 4 wins and 2 bottom 2 placements, and Gottmik having 2 wins and no bottom 2 placements. And this is where it gets really interesting because Simone does have 2 high placements and Gottmik has 4, but also 2 low placements, which means 2 of them even out. So they actually completely tie here. I did not know this. I was very surprised to see this, because I thought that Simone was smashing everyone out the park, which she did, of course. She did have 4 wins, but her bottom 2 placement just also hurts her. But it doesn't really matter because in the end, Rosé is the one who had the best track record overall with her 3 wins and no bottom 2 placements. But the top 2 was against Simone and Candy, and Simone does take it home after all. For season 14, we have a tie between our winner and an eliminated queen here, Deja Sky. They both have -1 point because they both have 1 win and 2 bottom 2 placements. But Willowpill does beat Deja Sky here with all of her high placements, but it's actually quite funny because there are a lot of other queens who had a better track record than Willowpill did. And they are Bosco, Angeria Paris Van Michaels, Lady Camden, and actually also Cornbread. Of course, she had 1 win and was never in the bottom 2 because she had to leave due to her injury. So of course, Deja and Cornbread are out of the equation here, but Lady Camden is the one with the best track record overall and should have won in that top 2, but she didn't. We can skip season 15 because Sasha Colby wins overall, and now we move on to season 16. Where we have a 3-way tie between the top 3 queens here actually. Nymphia wins, Safia Cristal and Plain Jane. They all have 3 points here, with Nymphia having 3 wins and no bottom 2 placements, and Plane and Crystal with 4 wins and 1 bottom 2 placement. And it's very interesting here because it's actually the opposite way that things happened. The order is like this: Saphira, Plane and Nymphia in track record wise of their high and low placements. But in the show it was Plane who was caught at the top 2 and then Nymphia winning over Saphira, when it should have been the top 2 of Saphira and Plane and then Saphira winning at the end. But again, that didn't happen. Alright, so now that we are done with the regular US seasons, we are moving on to the All-Stars seasons. And we're starting with All-Stars 1, where they of course competed in teams. So it is inevitable that there are gonna be queens who tied here. So our winner, of course, Chad Michaels, tied with her teammate Chanel, where they both had 3 wins and 1 bottom 2 placement. Meaning that they should of course have been top 2 instead of her and Raven, which was still so weird. But Chanel should have been in that top 2 and then they could have been a double crowning. But yeah, Chad Michaels wins after all, and she also does in the season. We can skip All-Stars 2 because Alaska does have the best track record overall. With All-Stars 3 is a little bit different because our winner Trixie Mattel does not tie with any of the other queens, but she is so far from having the best track record that we need to look at the other queens here, because Vendela of course had the very best track record here, there's no doubt about it. She had 5 wins and no bottom 2 placements since she quit herself, but since she did quit we need to take her out of the equation. And then we have the problem because the next 2 queens are Shangela and BB, and they both tie because they both have 1 point, whereas BB has 2 wins and 1 bottom placement and Shangela has 3 wins but 2 bottom placements. And then they both have 1 high placement each, so we can't even look at it like that either. There is a way we can say here that Shangela did win all 3 of her lip syncs and BB only won 1. So in that way, Shangela should have been the true winner of All-Stars 3 after Dayla, but in the end it was between Trixie and Kennedy, and Trixie does take it home there because of Kennedy's many bottom placements. With All-Stars 4 it's again a little bit different because we have 2 winners here, which we don't usually get, of course. But the problem is with Monet, because she does win with Trinity, but she ties with Mohart here because they both have 1 point with 3 wins and 2 bottom placements. And the thing is that Mo actually does have a better track record than Monet, because Monet has 1 low and 1 high placement and Mo has 1 high placement but no low placement. So she should actually have been in the top 2 with Trinity instead of Monet, who won. And the more funny thing is that Manila Luzon, who was eliminated, had a better track record than both of them for her 3 wins and only 1 bottom placement. But of course she was eliminated. Trinity the Tuck does take it home overall though here with the very best track record, and should probably just have been the solo winner. We can skip All-Stars 5 because Miss Cracker had the best track record overall, even though it was Shea Coulee who won that season. Now for All-Stars 6 things get a little messy because there's so many queens who has 1 win. And for start with our winner Kylie, she does tie with 2 other eliminated queens, which are Trinity K. Bonet and Jan. Because both Jan and Kylie has 1 win and is in the bottom 3 times. So they have a score of -2. And Trinity have 2 wins but is in the bottom 4 times, so she also has -2. But in the end, Kylie does win over them because she has a better track record, and also they were both eliminated, of course. But that's not all, because we do have 4 other queens who have a better track record than Kylie does. If we start off, we actually have Ginger Minch tying with Yara Sofia with a point of -1. Ginger because she had 2 wins and were in the bottom 3 times, and Yara because she had 1 win and was in the bottom twice. But now we come to the queens who is at the top of the records here, which is also a tie between Raja and Eureka. They both have a score of 0 points here. Raja for having 2 wins and being in the bottom twice, and Eureka for having 1 win and being in the bottom once. Of course, looking at the track record, Eureka is the best here for all of her high placements, but she was also eliminated, so I think it should go to Raja or Hera instead. So she should have been the right winner of this season, according to the track records. For All-Stars 7 things are a little bit different yet again, because there are of course no bottom placements, only wins and highs. And we also have 2 winners, which is the problem here, because Jinx is the overall winner and she also has the best track record with 5 wins as the only one. So that's easy enough. But when we look at the other winner with Raja here, she does tie with Jada Essence Hall. They both have 2 wins. But Raja does take it over Jada with all of her high placements. And for the top 2, Raja does win over Evie, because Evie only has 1 win, of course. But it doesn't really matter because the Vivian had 3 wins and should have been the winner of that group. We can skip All-Stars 8 because Jimbo does take it overall. And for All Stars 9 we have a tie between 3 queens here, and it is our winner Angeria Paris Van Michaels, Roxy Andrews and Plastique Tiara, because they all have 4 wins. And of course, just like on All Stars 7, there are no bottom placements, only wins and highs, and we only have a top 3 instead of 2 groups. And because Plastique is not a part of that top 3, she will not count towards the end here. So it's between Angeria and Roxy, and Angeria have 3 high placements where Roxy only has 2. So Angeria does take it home after all, which she also did in the season. Alright, so now we are done with the All-Star seasons as well. So now we can look at the international seasons, which is going to be the UK, Down Under and Global All-Stars. But it's only 6 of them that we actually have to look at, so it won't be long. But we do have to start with UK 1 though, and it is between the Vivian and Bagger Chips, who of course both had 3 wins and was in the bottom 2 once. But the Vivian does take it overall with her high placements over Bagger, but it doesn't really matter because Divina has the best track record overall because she was never in the bottom 2, and she also has 3 wins. We can skip UK 2 and 3 because in UK 2 Bimanibon Bulash has the best track record overall, and in UK 3 it's Eleva Day, even though none of them win their seasons, of course being Lawrence Chaney and Crystal Versace. Moving on to UK 4, we have a tie between the top 2, Danny Beard and Cheddar Gorgeous, who both had 4 wins and was never in the bottom 2. But because Danny has 2 high placements and Cheddar only has 1 and 2 low placements, Danny does take it overall, which she also did in the season. We can skip UK 5 and 6 because in UK 5 Ginger Johnson has the best track record overall, and in UK 6 it's Lawa, even though Kyron Frax wins that season. Moving on to UK versus the World Season 1, we again have a 3-way tie between Blue Hydrangea, Mohart and Bagger Chips, who all had 1 win and was in the bottom once. It is a complete tie between Blue and Bagger because they also both have 1 high placement, but we can say that Blue does win because she won the lip sync and Bagger did not. And between Blue and Mo, who were in the top 2, it is again Blue who wins here because of Mo's 1 low placement, and she also took it in the season. But it doesn't really matter because we do have 2 queens who have a better track record, being Jimbo and Pangina, who both have 2 wins and was in the bottom once, but they were of course both eliminated. We can skip UK vs the World Season 2 because Tia Coffee does take it overall. So now we're gonna move on to RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under, and we're gonna start again with Season 1. There is gonna be a tie between our winner, Keita Mean, and Anita Wiglet and Karen from Finance because all of them had 1 win and was in the bottom 2 once. But Keita Mean does take it over both of them with her high placements and their lows, and Anita was of course eliminated, but it doesn't really matter because overall it was Scarlett Adams who had the best track record here with her 3 wins and 1 bottom placement, but Keita Mean ended up winning, thank God for that. Moving on to Down Under 2, we have a tie between our winner Spanky Jackson and Hannah Conda. They both had 3 wins and was in the bottom 2 once. But Spanky does have 1 more high placement than Hannah does, so she does end up taking it, and she also did in the season. We can skip Down Under 3 because ISS Avis Loren does take it overall. So we're moving on to Global All Stars. It is yet again a 3-way tie here between our winner Alyssa Edwards and Kitty Scott Claus and Queen Kong. They all have 2 points here, Alyssa having 2 wins and no bottom 2 placements. Queen and Kitty ties with 3 wins each and 1 bottom 2 placement. And as you can see here, Kitty and Queen actually completely ties with 3 high placements each, but Alyssa does take it home because she just have 1 more, and so she does end up winning the season and has the best track record here. And that was all of the Ru seasons where the winning queen had a tie with another queen who was either in the competition or eliminated. Yeah, this was a very fun video to make, and I'm glad that I did it so I could fix my mistakes in my other videos. And here are the next slides. I will show you each name of each season of the queen who had the best track record. Even if it was an eliminated queen, it will be in brackets next to the one who had the next best track record, by default of course, as long as they were in the finale. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. Also check out my other channel where I make gaming and Pokemon Go content. See you next time. Bye bye.